Hi Scorpio, this is Kay. You're on the Collective Soul Tarot channel. Welcome back to the channel and welcome to your reading. So let's begin, Scorpio. Please like and subscribe, especially if this reading resonates for you. And hope you're all doing well. Very happy to be here and excited to get to your reading. Let's do it. Excuse me. Got a frog in my throat, as you can hear. There we go. All right, we have got no rain today. Well, hallelujah. Actually, for us in the south of the United States, we need rain in the summer, especially at this time of year, which is late July and August. That's when it generally doesn't rain. It's like kind of the water faucet is turned off. So we have a few days where we're not getting any rain, but then it's supposed to rain for like a week, you know, just showers, that kind of thing, and thunderstorm comes through. But no rain today, number 37. So 37 adds up to a 10, right? 1 and 0 for 10 adds up to a 1, which is a brand new beginning in something. Okay, so no rain today. So you're assuming that whatever it was that was cloudy and rainy before in your life, whatever your weather forecast was, whatever your environment has been, you know, not privileged to sunshine, to happiness, right? That's going to be drying up now. Like the rain, the clouds are going to be moving out, and sun is going to be able to come through. So that's very happy thought. Very happy thought, Scorpio. Okay, let's get a rune. Let's see what the rune has to say. We have I was, number 13, that's 4, and that's foundation. As you can see, it's a tree, right? The roots that are grounded helps the tree. It's like the tree of life, helps the tree, the journey grow. To grow and prosper. Let's see what it says. Norwegian. Woodcut runes, number 13 is which is the yew tree, the world tree, tree of life. It symbolizes the world tree, a time of problems, tasks, and decisions, a time of radical changes in life. Okay, it's a time of problems, tasks, and decisions, a time of radical changes in life. So some radical changes in life. So yeah, you have been going through a time of problems, working, you know, doing a lot of things, being busy, tasks, and having to make decisions. Maybe decisions that are routine, but it could be decisions that we're going to see you have making some kind of decision that's going to see you, a bit of your life change as a result of it. Let's get some major arcana information. Death and transformation, number 13. Okay, again, building a new foundation because you let whatever needs to end, those cloudy times, right? The cloudy times that were you had a lot of pressure on you. You had a lot of work to do, just maybe money concerns, relationship concerns, just the type of stress and pressure on you that has been threatening to take you under, and I mean 6 feet under, right, in a coffin, threatening to maybe your health, right, too. But that, whatever, now this death doesn't mean you're dying, okay, and you know that already. It just means that the divines come in and making something go away, end, because something new has got to come in. It's going to be transforming your life. So whatever decisions you had to make, it's going to be a decision that's going to see you moving in a new direction, that your life is going to be transformed as a result. We have the Two of Wands. Okay, so that's, you know, standing at a crossroads, deciding, do I need to go here or go there? Which way? Well, the death and transformation gives you that it's bringing that opportunity to you that you have a choice to make. You have a decision to make. Okay, let's find out more for Scorpio, Archangel Michael. What is it about no rain today and death and transformation with being at a crossroads, with major life changes? What was it? Major changes? Major life changes? Tasks and decisions, a time of radical changes in life. Radical. Extreme, right? Radical. Maybe you're getting married. Maybe you're having a baby. Maybe someone's passed away and, it's now you're on your own. Maybe you had a divorce, got to get divorced, or you're separating. Maybe you're needing to, you're in the military and you're being sent on tour. It's kind of a strange word for being, what do they call it? It starts with a P, doesn't it start with a P? When you get sent over, to go and engage in military activities. Yeah. Okay. Two of Pentacles. Two of Pentacles. One or the other, right? Queen of Water is the Queen of Cups. Okay. The Chariot, that's go, go, go. Being balanced, because you can only go when things are balanced. Oops, that's too far. You can only move forward in progress towards something wanted if things are not balanced. Now the Two of Pentacles is about juggling something. Being balanced enough to be able to juggle successfully. Now she's got 6 arms, which is 6 hands, right? So she's really got a lot on her plate. She's really got a lot on her plate to have to juggle, to manage, right? Queen of Water, Queen of Cups is about, learning to love yourself, but also finding that compassion and gentleness for yourself. Being compassionate and gentle towards yourself so that you can continue progressing forward. Because whatever was in the shadows behind the clouds or in the clouds before, it could have been so stressful and pressured for you that you weren't giving much thought to being, I need to be more compassionate and more gentle with myself through this. You might have been maybe having a lot of self-doubts and maybe possibly berating yourself, not necessarily berating possibly to that point, but just kind of being a little bit too hard on yourself, expecting more than what you really needed to expect from yourself at that time, or other people were, and it was making you feel like you're not living up to expectations, and that making you feel bad about yourself, and when we do that, when we don't want to feel bad about ourselves because we think people are disappointed in us, we end up internalizing it or projecting it. So what we internalize it, that would be like beating ourselves up. Okay, you're a bad person. You're not good enough. You're a failure. This, that. You're telling yourself that. Or projecting it, you get angry, and not saying you're not angry, berating yourself at the time, internalizing it, but you get angry and you start saying, you fight back. You fight back with, eye for an eye kind of mentality and energy. And that eye for an eye energy is, it's karma building, karmic debt building energy. So if we project out, if we lash out on somebody or something, it's like we're going to be actually building up karmic debt, so it's going to come back around and bite us in the butt at some point, sooner or later. It's the 7 of Wands. That's you saying, well, there's enough of that, where I'm going to be protecting myself with some healthy boundaries, which means you're actually evolving. You're learned from some other lessons that you've moved through in life that has taught you that if you don't protect yourself, then there's going to be all these these, these evil ones, these people or things that got really sharp claws and really sharp teeth that hurt when they bite you or claw at you. That hurts. Again, it could be that you were lashing out back to them, or internalizing. Either way, you were hurting yourself. You weren't hurting them, you were hurting yourself. So you've learned that you didn't get anywhere hurting yourself or hurting others because you felt bad afterwards, or you felt justified maybe, which is just a false way of trying to convince ourselves that we were right about hurting other people. You might have been like that, okay? But that kind of thinking and that kind of reactions to life and all the clouds that you have been trying to sort of sift through, trying to find trying to find the sun again, find some clarity, it's come to an end. The divine is putting an end to it on your behalf, because it's time. The divine is saying it's time for you to move on. You got that chariot, right? The chariot right here. It's time for you to move on in a different direction. You have been sitting at a crossroads too long. It's time to make a decision to go in another. Think different mentally. Think different. That could be going in a new direction. Deciding to take a different way of responding to a problem or a situation where you might have otherwise, like I said, projected the blame that you felt was coming onto you by others. You were projecting it out and saying, you're to blame, not me. I'm not the one to blame for this, right? Or you're internalizing, which is just making you sick and hurting you. It's not, it's not hurting anybody else. It's only hurting you. So it's about you walking a different path and saying, I have got to be more gentle and compassionate for myself. So no more like internalizing blame and no more lashing out, because the Queen of Cups does not lash out either. She tries to understand. She tries to understand the situation and tries to see it for what it is, that there is something that's gone on that was not nice, not pleasant. You didn't want to really have to experience it at all, but you see that there's a lot of gems of truth in it, for the point where you are taking something learned from it, that you're going to be able to take it as a nugget of wisdom into, tomorrow, into the next day, and the next day, and the next day. When you face other obstacles and challenges, you're going to be able to rely on the memory of the lesson from before and say, I'm not going to step into that again. I don't want to build any more karmic debt for myself. I am going to free myself from this by just being, like turning the other cheek, as they say, right? Turn the other cheek and think to yourself, what is the best way to react to this? What is the best way to respond to this? And I remember a time, Scorpio, when my mom was giving me a hard time about something. Yeah, we were visiting, myself and my husband, we were visiting mom and dad. And mom was, what's she doing? She was giving it to me. She was just, I don't know I can't remember, it was such a long time ago. But I was at the point where I was learning to be like the Queen of Cups. I was learning to spiritually develop, to grow. Knowing what I learned from my studies of spiritual growth is that it's never a win-win when we react. When we respond, yes, but not when we react. If we continue to react a certain way to something, but expecting or hoping for a different result, right? It's kind of insane. You can't keep doing the same thing. I can't keep doing the same thing, responding to the way my mom is being with me right now. It could have been very easy for me to say, you know what, Mom, screw you, or Mom, this isn't all on me. You're partially to blame about this too, or just get mad and say, you have no right talking to me like that. And and maybe calling her a bee, something, just being derogatory, right? Instead, what I chose to do was I listened to her. I was biting my tongue. Let me tell you, I was biting my tongue, and I think I was sweating because I was so mad. I was so angry. That typical reaction I would have been any other time as well. I was so angry, and then I didn't say a word. I kept my lips closed. I wasn't going to let her pull that ugliness out of me. I was not going to let her pull that out of me. And I went straight to my room, left my husband out there with my mom and dad, and they're continuing to visit, whatever. And I just went to bed. I went to bed, and I didn't say a word. So in the morning, there was nothing to have to say sorry about. There was nothing to have to kind of sidestep around or avoid with my mom, because I didn't create anything that I would have to feel guilty about or be compensatory about, anything like that. I was like in the clear, and I was happy with myself. I was really happy with myself. I was proud of myself. And the divine tells us that if you allow the divine to take that issue, that circumstance, that event, let them handle it. Let the divine handle it for you on your behalf. It gets solved, and you never face anything like that ever again. And trust me when I say my mom has never attacked me like that ever again. And I didn't have to lift a finger. All I had to do was bite my lips, bite my tongue. I had to bite my tongue and just go to bed and hope for the best. I prayed to God at that time. I said, Lord, this was something very difficult for me to have to do. I hope I'm doing the right thing, because I sure wanted to say something, but I didn't, because, you're teaching me that just turn the cheek, right? And I'm doing that. And then, so I'm leaving this in your hands. You'll see how this all works out. And lo and behold, next morning, nobody was angry. No one was upset. No one was pussyfooting or walking on eggshells. No one was embarrassed, especially my mom, because she just doesn't, she doesn't say sorry. So I learned to live with that. But the point is that however it was that I responded to my mom's berating, it was the right way to do it. Because I felt really good the next morning, knowing that I didn't take it any further than it needed to be with Mom. So it was a win-win as far as I could see. She could still be happy that she had a chance to say whatever she needed to say, and I was happy that I didn't say what I could have said and made the situation worse, to the point where we don't even want to stay there. We just want to go home now. Right? So that's kind of what I'm talking about, Scorpio, is that you've got the ability now to let the divine take this and end it for you, whatever way of thinking, or however whatever situation you're going through that's in the clouds, so that it can bring the sunlight back into your life, right? Because you're going to choose. You got a choice now. You're brought to a crossroads. Go this way or go that way, and you're going to choose to go the way. Well, it's up to you. You're going to choose to go the way that is the light, is into the light, the path that goes to the light. And you see how the sunlight is shining on that particular wand. You've been that way. It hasn't been so good for you. This time you're going to be on the one that the sunlight is shining on, that path, okay? So I hope that was helpful. So we got the Three of Swords, which is heartbreak, right? Seven of Swords. Wow. Okay. We got some heavy energy here. And the Hermit. Yeah, I would hope so. Let's see what else we got. Three of Cups. Yay. Celebration. Page of Air. Page of Swords. Yes. That's learning. That's seeing the past for what it was. It was something for you to honor. To honor the past for what it was, because it taught you something. Like the messenger, which is the messenger page. The page is the messenger, and the Page of Swords is like the student. You can look at the past and see all that you've learned, so that you can move forward now in your truth. We got the Ace of Truth. Talk about the truth. There's the Ace of Swords right there. That's the divine offering you the opportunity to walk your path in complete truth now. You're walking your truth. In other words, the Five of Swords is you going, ha, 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 ha. I am doing whatever it takes for me to be able to win. And it's like, but you're doing it from the viewpoint of the hermit, which is just above it. You're doing it from the viewpoint now of, just like my story. I'm doing ha 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 ha, Mom, I'm not going to respond to you like I normally would respond to you, and maybe say something not nice to you like you've been saying to me. I'm just going to ha 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 all the way to bed. Because I can wake up in the morning then after knowing I did the right thing. I gave it to the light, right? I gave it to the light. I sought the light. I sat on the edge of my bed. There, she's sitting on the edge of something, rock, and looked into the abyss and said, Lord, you got this, because I made the decision not to be insane in that moment, not to continue doing what I've always done and expected a better outcome, that I win, at least. That this time I'll win. If I just, stab her a few more times harder. But just stab her a little bit harder, I might actually kill her, and then I win, right? Oh, but then she's dead. Golly, so guys, yeah, that's what I did. I sat on the edge of the bed, and I said, God, you got this, because I dealt with this differently than I would normally do it. So please help me out with this now. It's in your hands. Yep. You got to do whatever you got to do to win, but win in the way that has to do with following the light. Following the light. Okay, guys, and let's see what else. We've got the Page of Cups. That's being happy, happy, happy. Queen of Swords is being smart. And the Three of Wands is like just doing it. Going for it. Yep. Three of Wands is waiting for your ships to come in and continue moving in the direction that you started. You started the energy movement with the Chariot. Okay, so you've got Seven of Fire, strategy, and just being Seven of Fire, Seven of Wands. Sorry, that's not Seven of Wands is putting up, erecting, and fortifying, but also managing. Enforcing. That's what enforcing your healthy boundaries, like with Mom. For example, my healthy boundary would be, you know what, Mom? If you're going to continue to be this kind of personality with me, I'm afraid that, my husband and we're not going to come and visit you guys that often, because it's a very unpleasant experience being here with you, being that way towards me. It could be simple situation is if you can't apologize for your behavior, then let's just make sure that you don't ever do anything that you got to apologize for next time, kind of thing. And if she starts doing anything or saying anything, when you start enforcing it, you're saying, wait a minute, Mom, remember what I said? If you go down this road with me right now, you're going to be chasing us out of this house, and we're not going to come back. And unless you say you're sorry, we're going. That's it. Our stay here is going to be shortened. This is what I'm going to accept from you, and this is what I'm not going to accept for you. And poor old Dad's sitting there, right? He's sitting there wanting to have a visit with myself, his daughter, and my husband, who really digs. He loves my husband, right? He enjoys having him come visit. I think more so than me. But poor old Dad's sitting there going, well, hang on, if you leave, then that makes me not, I can't have a visit with y'all. He didn't say that. It doesn't say that. But that's what's happening, is Dad ends up being the one suffering because of what Mom just can't control herself, right? So that's basically what I'm talking about. You got some healthy boundaries put up. And when you When you say you're going to do something, you do it. You do it. You enforce it. Otherwise, it's like heartbreak, right? You're just going to end up stabbing yourself in the heart with the Three of Swords. Seven of Swords is you're going to be taking a path least desired. You're going to be actually stealing away happier times, stealing from you. Without the Seven of Wands, the healthy boundaries, and the Hermit, for you to be able to take some time to reflect on what it was that just happened, you're actually robbing yourself of joy and happiness. Because if you have reacted, right, it's just like it's stabbing hearts, right? It's hurting hearts, it's hurting people, it's hurting yourself, it's hurting the other person. And that's not a strategy you want to take in order for you to be, to have a win-win situation. Have the celebration, right? With, like in my example with my family, if mom can follow a couple simple rules, like don't talk to me like that again. If you do and you don't apologize, then we're out of here. If you do and you apologize, then let's talk some more. But this is the Three of Cups, so it's celebrating a visit, a time spent with my parents that we drove a long ways to have with them. And with looking back with the Page of Swords, it's looking back on what it was like for us before I decided to change my tune, to change my strategy, to change my reaction to a response by biting my lip, right? Biting my tongue. I stood in my truth, which is my integrity in this moment. Instead of becoming that which she probably expected me to become, I didn't say a word. And it must have really kind of surprised her, shocked her even. And there I went, walked right by her down the hall, closed the door nice and slow, quietly closed the door, and then remained there for the rest of the evening, giving her the idea that I was not happy with how things went, but I wasn't going to get to the point where I was going to stoop to her level and have that kind of roaring match with her. I wasn't going to do that. So it demonstrated to her that I chose to be at peace. I chose peace over that. And that by doing so, I needed to put some, distance between myself and her. That's why I went down the hall to my bedroom. Yeah. This is me loving myself, giving me the offer, giving me the gift of love for myself, self-compassion and gentleness. I said, you know what? I'm worth more than the reaction I would have had if I had gone that way, taken that strategy. I'm worth more than that. All I want is I seek the truth. I seek the truth, although I'm flexible, I'm intuitive, and I'm flexible. I don't allow emotion to get into it, which I didn't. I cut the whole situation, I cut the whole event, just cut it. Completely ended it, right? Because I decided not to say anything and just go to my room. That is a Queen of Swords energy. She doesn't engage in the emotional whatever of it, the clouds of it, right? The uncertainty of saying too much. How's that going to affect others and myself? My dad too, right? So the Three of Wands, that's being, fired up, inspired to be prepared to go the direction that, the ship that's out in the bay, right, in the ocean, it's out in the bay, it's holding all my treasures, right? So it's like allowing the ship to come in by deciding to be prepared to take a different path, a different direction, a different way of handling something, a problem or a situation. handling your stress about something. The way I handled my stress was by not saying anything and just going into the room and saying, God, I could have very well done that, but I didn't, so I'm giving this to you. So please do what it is that's best for everyone concerned. Yeah, and it did. It turned out really, really well, and she's never done that to me ever again. And so it was no more rain. It was a sunny day the next day. Like I said, I felt really good about myself. I had grown. In that moment, I had grown, guys. Scorpio, this is what you're doing. In the moment, you're going to grow. You're taking your life's lessons and you're putting it to use by remembering that there's a better way of dealing with a situation, a problem, an event, whatever it is that we're talking about here for you, Scorpio. So I hope this was helpful, and please like and subscribe if it meant something to you, and take care of yourself, and see you in a couple weeks when you come back around. Bye for now.